Hello everyone, and just in case a parrot flies past, as I said that it flew past, I am parrot sitting for my mate, which has been loads of fun because all it wants to do is bite my fingers. But today is election day, and obviously the big news, even more than that, is the Channel 4 Dispatches documentary, where, long story short, I can't put the video on. I wanted to. I actually made a video reacting to it, and I am not allowed to use any of the footage more than little snippets of 30 seconds, 40 seconds in my video. So I put like a big long section, did a real good video, uploaded it, and YouTube said I can't do that, which is very frustrating. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is obviously the election, and will it make any changes to our local economy and things like that. Only a quick video. But the Channel 4 documentary, the man in the picture of this thumbnail, going on camera, videoing his boss, you know, doing things he shouldn't be doing in a waste site. So to give you some context into the story, I'm watching TV the other night. Somebody sends me, look at that. Somebody sends me a message. Nightmare. Knew it was going to do it. So he sends me a message. He says, "Oh, have you seen that documentary?" I said, "No, what documentary?" He says, "Oh, the one on Channel 4. So I goes on it. They're putting trackers into mattresses and all this lot for people to basically to catch people fly tipping. And I think anybody who was given a budget of millions of pounds or whatever they got to make this documentary, maybe 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, anybody could catch a fly tipper. If I got 100 companies to come out, put trackers in everything, I'd catch somebody, wouldn't I? Especially if I had a load of money being given to me to do it. And in the documentary, they bash the Environment Agency, you know, yeah, they're the regulators, they should do this, they should do that. But what you've got to remember is, nobody's sat there. The women who do this documentary, I'm going to put a few little clips of this as it runs through, but nobody's going to give a Environment Agency officer, I don't know, 50 grand, 100 grand, 20 grand, whatever it is, to go and actually do a sting like this. It's pointless to actually doing a mattress. But in this documentary, I think 50-60% of all the material that was put into these jobs were trackers. Basically half of it got put into council bins or fly tipped. And this is what I always say to people, right? When you pay landfill tax, that goes to the national government. So I think that goes into a big pot, and it's probably used for, I don't know what. But it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if they used it to put to put wind turbines up or solar panels. But I'm sure it gets used to do other things. We're talking about the election. It probably gets used to, well, probably not always look after the people that it should be doing. But anyway, let's forget that. So what happens is with these big money pots is the money goes to the national government, and then when things are fly tipped locally, it's the local council that are left with that bill to tidy up, which is obviously a complete and utter nightmare for the local economy. So basically your council tax, probably £1 out of every bit of council tax, you know, every 100 quid, £1 that'll go to clean up fly tipping. It's an absolute nightmare. But that leads me on to this documentary that they've done. So a company in Wales, I'll give you some more of an idea what it's about. Company in Wales has been given money to a local prime minister, to a local MP. I don't know what they're called in Wales, but it's somebody in the government, and they're saying it was, you know, he was paying him off and all this sort of stuff. Then you've got a driver who's been giving statements, I presume, to the Environment Agency and to Channel 4, saying that they're putting trommel fans on top of waste to sort of like hide what the material is. I mean, you know, you're messing with some serious people, and you've got to remember, in the waste industry, a certain type of person does the job. You're hanging around mucky, dirty things all day and all that lot. You know, all the lads are usually pretty rough. Every skipyard's got a tasty lad in it. You know, and these boys listen, they're within the rights to say whatever they want. If they want to take that risk, they can say whatever they want. But at the same time, this kid who's making this statement and allegation, I mean, he doesn't seem like the sharpest kid, and I think what's happened is basically 2 or 3 lads have been fired or whatever from this job. So because they've been fired, they've then sold this story to Channel 4, and Channel 4 then massively dramatised it. And there's one thing I just want to talk to everybody about here. So I'm going to put a link to the documentary below in the description, so you can watch the documentary on the Channel 4's website, because I ain't allowed to use it. But there's a part of the documentary at the end which you'll see, and they say somebody was shooting at them. Site security was shooting at the documentary makers with a gun to blow the drone out the sky. Right, on a landfill, you have a thing called a bird scarer, because you have loads of seagulls and loads of other stuff. You have a thing called a bird scarer. All it does, it puts a little bit of methane into a chamber, and then you have an igniter, and then as it fingers, it makes a big popping sound, and all the birds fly away. Farmers use them, everybody uses them. It is not somebody trying to shoot somebody. Again, it's just to make a very dramatic documentary. They've got a specialist on there, which is probably the specialist who writes all the stuff about, you know, let's change landfill tax because blah, blah, blah. The specialist doesn't know probably nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, my dad has done skips he's worked for Skips, doing skips and the council for the best part of 50 years. Nobody's ever asked him what his opinion is on it, ever. What the environment agency once told me is that the governing, not the governing body, so the body for, so basically all those waste companies, we're supposed to pay 100 quid a year or whatever it is into one of these waste, I don't know, unions, whichever one it is. I don't even know what it is. I've been doing skips since, you know, forever. So we're supposed to pay 100 quid or whatever, and then from that, being in that membership, we can then give our opinion, and then they will give that to the environment agency. What a load of, you know, rubbish that is, because some companies can't afford to be a £20-30 a month subscription to, you know, things like that. But yeah, anyway, going back to these experts, so the first thing the expert says is that a trailer can carry 40 tonne on the road. So that would, in theory, make your full lorry weight 60-65 tonne, which is basically 20-25 tonne overweight. So that expert is obviously a bit of an umpty. Just my opinion. But a lot of the things he says are absolutely ridiculous. They're saying that people who are in the waste industry, 60 of the biggest firms in the country have got links to criminal gangs and you name it. They've got it. It's absolutely shit. I can't even. I don't know what to say. It's absolutely shit. My family, my dad has never been in trouble. Don't get me wrong. I've been in, enough of it. My dad has never been in trouble. Not like that. And, I can name 50 other people that haven't been in trouble or in the waste industry. I think this documentary was just to bash waste companies and the Environment Agency, as if they're not doing any work. And it's probably not very often that a waste site, because we're getting hammered, as you'll know, all the waste sites are getting hammered by the Environment Agency. And it's this sort of publicity, there goes the parrot again, that causes this sort of thing. So we're getting loads of bad publicity, and then the Environment Agency go around everywhere else. But I think the Environment Agency's been hammered in this just as much, because they're basically saying, you need to watch the documentary, but basically, long story short, is they're working on it and we'll get there, sooner or later type thing. And that's the only way you can do it. What you have to remember is the Environment Agency, they're not police. They're not the police. I'll tell you what an Environment Agency told me, a woman called Tracy, from the local office, right? She said to me before, when I asked her, what can you do to stop somebody doing something? This is what I said to her, and I was referring to my own site. I said, what would you do if I did it? Just as in a joke. She said, well, I can't lay across the gate, can I? She said, and that's about all the power that we physically have to lay across your gate and stop trucks coming in. And when you think about it, look at that parrot again. When you think about it, it's all funny. Oh, there he is, look. It's all funny when you think about it like that, but actually the Environment Agency are a regulator. They're not like the police and the army or whatever. They're there to regulate sites, issue permits, make sure people comply with the permits. they don't have the type of training, I wouldn't have thought, to actually be going out and, you know, doing undercover this and undercover that. I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's a part of them that does. But, you know, like I say, it's not often that I'll, you know, completely agree with maybe my officer who comes around here. She's all right, to be fair. She's, you know, but as a whole, I think most people get a little bit upset about the way the environment is with them. But this documentary is what seems to want to bash the full industry and say we're all some sort of criminals. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the video. And like I say, it's election night, so I think I'm going to be voting for, well, I don't know. I won't say now because I don't want to upset nobody. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to put a link to the full documentary underneath, and it's, like I say, it's eye-watering. The guy who has a landfill, I mean, the guy who has this landfill, he'll be sat there like, wishing he'd paid these lads off, so he didn't have to give them any, didn't have to go through all this, what he's gone through, people putting stuff on TV. Yeah, so probably good advice if you're sacking somebody who's got loads of debt on you, give them a few quid. I don't know. I mean, I ain't got a landfill. I wouldn't want one, I don't think, because it's a lot of stress, that is for sure. Especially when people are doing this shit to you. But anyway, like I say, maybe the Environment Agency and the Skip people can come together and, you know, stand up to these people making documentaries who are putting ridiculous things in. Fair enough, if the documentary was right and there was no stupidity in it, then I would say, you know what, yeah, all they would have had to do is get a fact checker. So a fact checker is somebody who works in the industry who actually checks what they're saying. You know, I can't read and write, but I do know, well, I can read and write. Not brilliant, I'm not very good, but I do know a lot of the rules that he's talking about are all wrong, because he's obviously an expert who was trained at some college somewhere, and he's an expert in, you know, the environment and everything else. But the skip industry has its own, in this country, has its own, you know, you have a whammy tab and stuff like that, and if he probably don't even know what that is. But anyway, I hope you enjoy my video, and I'll put a link down below to that video, and I will see you all soon, and good luck with your voting, and have a good weekend. I'll see you all soon.